Hey, everybody. Yeah, I can't really do the Connor. Hope you've been doing fantastically well because the reality is none of us are doing well after that performance. The match has just ended. Sunderland 0, Leeds United 0, home at Ellen Road. Not a particularly good result. Before we get into the details of the match, I suppose we should just start out and say that on one hand, we can be glad that Leicester have dropped points to Millwall today. So I guess there's that. Um, but for me, I'm concerned that we're leaving things in the hands of others. Today, we left the match in the hands of the officials. We didn't play well enough to win the game on our own, and we were hoping that a woeful official today was going to bail us out in what should have been a clear penalty kick. It was not. The linesman had great position to signal to the referee that it should have been a penalty. But the reality is, with these players, with this level of performance we've had throughout the season, playing Sunderland at home shouldn't come down to a single decision by the referee. So I'm Gabe. I'm going to be taking you through this. We're going to get to some of your questions. But this is my kind of broad spanning reaction on what we just saw. Connor is at the ground today. That's why I'm stepping in. So what a match to go see today. First of all, this match for me can be summed up in two simple words. Too slow. Too slow. Everything was too slow. The decision making was too slow. The rotation of the ball was too slow. The decisions on the ball, too many touches, too slow. So by the time we had a window to attack Sunderland, quickly they closed it. And by the time we had our heads up ready to make a pass, the passing lane was gone. Too slow. The substitutions from Daniel Farka today, too slow. The decision making and the processing speed for Jorginho Rutter, Dan James, and Crescencio Somerville, too slow. Pat Bamford running today, too slow. It's one thing after the other. And to be honest, we did not play well enough to win that match today. We didn't. We didn't play well enough to win. And that's what you have to step back and look at. Yes, we should have had a penalty kick. That's a fact. And yeah, maybe we go up 1-0 and win that match. But it should never have come down to that. Our level of play today, yes, we controlled the match through possession, but Sunderland was good. They had their spells, and they got at us here and there. I don't think that Sunderland was good enough to say that they deserved to win, but we certainly didn't deserve to win on merit. Again, maybe, that penalty is a clear penalty for me, but if you're in a 0-0 match and you're relying on championship level officials to win the match for you, you're in a bad position. So too slow. We talked about that. We had 6 corners in the first half, and I think we had 11 for the match. I don't know. Did we even threaten on any of the corners? I have a couple of statistics to share here, a little bit of data. But first, before we do, just do me a favor, everybody, for Connor, because it's for Connor. This is Connor's channel, not mine. Slap a like. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the One Leeds Fan Channel. Listen, I'm not happy. I haven't been happy the last couple weeks, but I'm still not of the opinion that this is the end of the world, mainly because Leicester didn't win. Here's where I'm worried. I'm going to step back for a minute and talk a little bit about the overall where I think the team is going trajectory-wise. But I'm also going to get into the nitty-gritty details because there are some real causes for concern. First, today wasn't a great match. Last match wasn't a great match. The match before that wasn't a great match. My concern here is we're not just seeing a bad run of form, because we knew that this team could not continue to win or go undefeated the way it had since December 29th of last year. We hadn't lost in the calendar year until very recently. So that's one thing to point out. But I think what concerns me isn't that we've dropped results. It's that we're reverting to the form of in the beginning of the season, where Farka was very slow to make changes, where he was going with kind of his old war horses. A couple things I want you to look at here and think about, because I think this is really important. So let's talk about chance creation and goals that we score as a side. We've scored 88 goals this season from live ball scenarios in open play. That's pretty elite in the division. But we've only scored 3 all season from dead ball scenarios. So set pieces, that's third bottom. That's woeful. And that continues today. when you're in matches where you're not free flowing or your attackers are having bad days, and how many times have I said we have young players where you're relying on young players who make mental mistakes or aren't always consistent or aren't always dialed in? You're going to be relying on scrapping something out at the end. Now, hopefully you can get a penalty kick, but most of the time, even bad teams can win matches they're out of or not playing well in through set pieces, not Leeds United. This is not just a Daniel Farke problem. We've not been good on set pieces for a long time, but it's telling when the previous managers who were here last season got better results from set pieces than we have this season. That's not great. That's not great. That's number one. Number two, you know, we can look around that pitch today and say that the performances weren't good, and we're right. Well, that's true. But we've been making a lot of wild claims about how good our attackers are, about how good Jorginho Rutter is, about how Crescencio Somerville is the best player in the championship. I keep hearing it over and over and over. Well, prove it. Prove it. Show up in a big game and play well. Because to be honest, I haven't seen it lately. Jorginho Rutter and Crescencio Somerville and Dan James, I have to call out Dan James as well. Listen, so for progressive carries, which is what these guys are good at, Dan James less so. He kind of gets out of this criticism a little bit because he's more of a hoof the ball out and let him run onto it, right? But for Somerville and Rutter, what they're known for and what they bring to this team is progressive carries. We were third in the division coming into this match with 833. Only Southampton and Sunderland are actually better in this regard. But we are second bottom in the league in getting dispossessed from those carries. Now compare that to Southampton, who are ninth top in terms of retaining the ball that they've carried. What that means is for as good as we are progressively carrying the ball, we lose the ball more prodigiously than we cause problems by carrying it. That means when we're taking players on, guys like Rutter, it's primarily Jorginho in the second half of the season. His production has dried up. We have to be honest about this. And he's losing the ball more than he's keeping it. I'm not sure if he's banged up. I'm not sure if he's hurt. I don't know what the deal is, but it's not been good enough. And it's obviously not good enough. And Crescencio Somerville, I got to tell you, as good as he is, and he's good, this is just my opinion. I have no factual databases for this opinion. It is a gut feeling. It's hard for me to look at the way he's playing, the extra touches he takes, and some of his body language to think that he doesn't think he's better than he is. You're still in a championship fight, pal, to get us promoted to the Premier League, right? You're still a championship player. And yeah, you've had a tremendous season, but you're off the historic pace that you started out. And in fact, if you look at his output in the beginning of the season, the first half of the season, and now, you have to say he's tailed out a little bit. That's not to say he's not a great player. It's not to say he's not one of the elite in the division. But if you want to stake claim to being that good, if you want to think those things about yourself and hear those songs come up from the supporter section, if you want to supporter section, we weren't away, but you know what I'm saying? If you want to take those accolades on, you simply have to show up consistently. I can't tell you the last time he's been a real problem on the pitch for somebody. He's been okay in some matches. He's not been terrible, and he's been by far our worst player in these matches. But you can't go from being in the conversation for best ever championship season, which many people were saying about him, so putting in performances like that. Sorry, and yeah, he does get triple teamed. A lot of it is he takes 3, 4, 5 touches before he makes a move. He invites pressure. Some of this is young player stuff. This stuff happens. But man, one shot on target. And it's not like they were defending us that well. They did defend us, but it was self-indulgence. It was, let's hold on to the ball and try to do something special. No, just move the ball quickly, which they started to do in the end. We still didn't manage shots on target. So that's concerning. That's really concerning. Another thing is this: substitutions. This is something that every fan for every club thinks they know everything about. I'm going to give you all key data right now that's going to substantiate claims that you've been making all season and you've been right about. Daniel Farke waits too long to make subs. This is true. It's a fact. He waits too long. Now, this isn't an overall criticism of Daniel Farke. I still believe that he'll get us promoted. I still believe that he's the right man in the job right now. This is a single point of criticism about him, in addition to the set piece criticism, which didn't begin with him. He just hasn't fixed it. This is something that falls on him, though. Our substituted players coming into last match, not today's, but the match before, we're averaging 13 minutes of playing time. for the season, which is dead last in the division. So you want to know why we have difficulties with player form, guys coming off the bench looking a little bit rusty or not getting in at all, and then our players being run into the ground. This is the reason, guys. This is the reason. We haven't been rotating. We have one of the deepest benches in the division. We haven't been using them. We give some of these guys garbage time to come in and make an impact. Patrick Bamford wasn't good today. Now listen, there have been plenty of people digging out Patrick Bamford. Some on this channel, right? I've been one of them at times. So I'm not just going to sit here harp. It becomes excessive after a while. But come on. Anybody could see that this wasn't Bamford's day, that this game is crying out for Mateo Joseph. And Farka left it too late. He left it too late. So it's frustrating. And we're just not special when our attackers drop their work rate. This is something that I saw in the data. So our players, when they lose the ball so prodigiously, if our work rate isn't higher than everybody else, we don't gain the ball back. Earlier in the season, we saw that. They were buzzing around. So if Jorginho lost the ball, he also regained the ball and did something brilliant and created a chance. I can't remember the last Jorginho Ruter assist. Can you? Can you? I don't have the data in front of me, but can you? It's frustrating. Frustrating. We talk all the time. We talk all the time about how good these players are. And I feel like sometimes we let them off the hook and we just blame Daniel Farka. It has to be better, but I do wonder, with so little rotation, how tired these guys are. All right, I'm going to get more into the match particulars real quick, but I'm going to look at some of the comments here. Super Ted, thank you very much for this. Says, journalist needs to ask why he waits so long to make subs. Yeah, I agree. I agree. We have some journalists are asking, the same questions every week. I would like to see them ask this: why do you wait so long to make subs? Sujal says nothing is working. Plan B seems to be referred to Plan A. Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree, Sujal. I'm not going to fall into this alarmist stuff, though. I'm not going to say Farka's terrible. I'm not going to say we don't go up. Leicester just dropped points against Millwall. Millwall are dreadful. Sunderland's very up and down. They've been mostly down lately. That's another thing. We just played a team that isn't in very good form. Before you could make the excuse that, we played Coventry. Coventry had won 4 out of their last 5. So it's no shame dropping points to them. But today hurts. We're at home as well. I'm frustrated, y'all. I'm frustrated. Also, I don't like to talk about this stuff. But what was the referee doing today? This is it's unbelievable that not all. I mean, they missed the clear and obvious penalty. They also missed a clear and obvious corner kick. I just don't. I don't understand it. What's more frustrating to me is that we have to talk about referees because this team left it too late. They didn't show up. When I talk about reverting to form, remember earlier in the season when we were just getting things together, this team would stink in the first half and then come out in the second half and play much better. That's what we're doing again. Past 4 matches, that's what it's been like. Not great. And VAR, Carlos, that's a great point. We've seen VAR make some confounding decisions. So, my God. All right. Get your comments in. I want to know what you think right now. I'm frustrated, as you can probably see. I think that the points of alarm, and I could talk about data all day long, and I have, and I do. We could talk about how the players are tired. We could talk about set pieces. We could talk about, certain players losing the balls too much in key areas and not tracking back as much. But ultimately, the players have to be better as well. I don't see the graphs. I'm not saying they don't care. They do care. I'm not going to be one of those fans who say, oh, they just don't care just because we don't like the result. I do think they care. But I think the work rate with some of these players has dropped. And I know I'm kind of an old curmudgeon. I'm the oldest guy on this channel. But that's why I don't trust young players. And I'm not talking about Mateo Joseph. I would have trusted Mateo Joseph today. So it's not just an age thing. But when you're young and talented, like Archie Gray, he's young and talented. I don't have to worry about his work rate. Ever. He'll go play whatever position you ask him to play. I do worry about Somerville. I know We don't like the source, but the one manager, he who shall not be named, wasn't the only one that said Creed didn't train particularly well. I'm worried about it. All right. MBS, I saw Farka no tactics all season. We saw it. I appreciate you continuing to post it. I don't agree. There's no tactics. The tactics are clear. They're obvious tactics. He just doesn't change them. He thinks they're like Novocaine. If you stick with them, they'll work. And to be honest, he may be right. But what we want is we all want to go 3, 4, 5 points clear. Right now, it looks like it's not going to happen. It's difficult. All right. I'm going to highlight some of the comments here. Steely Man said, I cannot back Farka any longer. He tries your patience way too much. Player work rate up to Farka. Change it. All right. I am still backing Farka. I want to be clear. I still think he's the right man for the job. I still think he's doing a good job. I am alarmed at some trends that we're seeing over the last 3-4 weeks that seem to revert back to previous points in the season where we weren't very good, where we were dropping results against Huddersfield and teams like that, right? So I am a little bit worried about it. I do think he can right the ship. I know these players are a little bit banged up, but right now, everyone's got that excuse. Everyone's played a lot of games. Yeah, I agree. The Farka out chants are silly. I'm not going to be. Yeah, I mean, who cares? I'll let me block this guy. All right, bye. You control all you want, pal, but we'll find you. Right. Let's see. Aiden said, the Penn decisions were mind-numbing, but we shouldn't have to rely on Penn's playing a Sunderland side that just lost 5-1. Aiden, 100%. That's comment of the day to me right now. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. It shouldn't come down to a single decision by incompetent referees. We have a team that's talented enough and good enough to put the match away much earlier than that. And this Sunderland team is not that good. Yeah, they played well today, but they're not that good. And we failed to get it done. Mark says we're having a wobble at the worst point, but I'm still hopeful. Can't play Pat no more. It will come down to the wire. Yeah, Mark, I mean, the good thing is, well, the silver lining here, is it silver lining or is it more like aluminium, like foil lining that it looks like teams in and around us are? I mean, we're so far ahead of Southampton. I can't see them catching us, or Leicester or Ipswich. Ipswich are doing fine, but Leicester are dropping points too. This is not the position we want to be in. But the man tells me to fill in for him, and then he stokes the fires against me with friends like this. Who needs enemies, guys? All right, let's see what some other comments here I want to highlight here before I continue to soliloquy. I take solace in the fact that we're still unbeaten at home. Yeah, Rajiv, I actually, okay, I can see that. We'll take that. I would have liked to have won today, but 100%. Pablo Escobar says we've been flat for weeks. Manager has changed nothing. Useless. Well, I'm sure the useless bit is just a little bit of emotion, but I do understand we have been flat. And it would have been nice to see Willie Nanto instead of Dan James. I don't think Dan James has been particularly good the last number of weeks, and I think it would have been better just to go with him. I think his energy has been good. That being said, I still think he's profligate in front of goal, or I guess he hasn't really been in front of goal, but in the attacking area, as we always are. It's always one decision, one touch too many, and it just drives me crazy. Where's Connor? Connor went to the grounds today. He went to the match, so that's where he is today. Keith said, simply too slow and predictable. I want to reset at the back instead of being, always want to reset at the back instead of being progressive. Yeah, I agree. Although I don't think that's the fault with this team right now. I don't think the fact that our midfielders are playing it behind, we had the ball in their attacking area plenty. But did you see how I haven't seen a team this narrow since last season? We did not have any width today. And when we do have width, it's one guy way out wide whipping a ball over everybody in the center of the area, and it bounces on the other opposite side because no one's there. So we don't play with width. This isn't really the way we've been playing tactically all season. Yeah, I mean, it's not, when it's not working and a team decides to be committed and defending in the center, sometimes it doesn't work out for us. Aiden says, I beg he starts Donato over James Saturdays. Looked off since the break. Hasn't been that effective when teams don't leave space behind. Aiden with another class comment there. I totally agree with him. Starlight said, Fark is in charge. This is on him. Things aren't working. You don't change it up. 90 minutes of football, one shot on target. Okay, as a manager, you are responsible for what happens on the pitch, 100%. That said, I'm not going to give players that many are constantly calling the best in the division free passes. Yeah, we're going to blame Patrick Bamford. He hasn't been good enough. Look, can we talk about how Chris Somerville and Jorginho Rutter look really ordinary? And honestly, Rutter worse than Somerville because he loses the ball way more. What is he giving you if he's not creating chances? He's not giving you very much, right? So it has to be better. Yes, he's young. I'm not saying he to bin him off or that he's not good enough to play. I'm saying he is good enough. We're not seeing it. We need to see it. You can't disappear at this point in the season. It's a really bad timing. Really bad timing. My God. Wow. What a day. Let's see here. Sajal, hopefully with some words of wisdom here. Disappointing tonight for sure, but 4 games to go. Yep. Need to start looking forward and hoping. I fully agree with this, but why can't we just make it easy for ourselves for once? We will cheer just as loud if we win it, if we win promotion on the last day of the season than we would now, right? So in fact, probably louder. So 100%. I think we don't want the emotional instability and the heart attacks that come along with the drama of Leeds United at the end of the season with 4 matches to go. But, listen, if Ipswich win tomorrow, then I think that they take sole possession of the top and we're 1 point behind second. I will take solace in the fact that Leicester seem to be floundering if a little bit more than we are right now. So we still have to get our results right. We have to start winning games again. That's the most important thing. I don't care about what other teams are doing, even though I just talked about it. We need to start winning games again. That's what it comes down to. And all right, I can't get online with this. We've totally and utterly blown our chances of an automatic promotion. There's a spread of 2 points between the top 3 teams right now, and nobody in close behind that. So I'm not going to say that. I think that's a little bit alarmist, but I understand your anxiety. I do. William says Sunderland don't put that much effort every game, but should still do better. Yeah. Yeah. Put that much. Okay. Sorry. I misread that. I don't have my glasses on. No, I agree that they, as Connor has said many times, this is everyone's cup final when they play Leeds United. So, it is what it is. We are not going up. People need to stop the delusion. Chris, first of all, no, I'm not going to make fun of your spelling. I stopped myself there. But here's the thing. What's the point of being a fan if you're just going to come on and say, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, we're not going to go up. We need to stop having there's a 2-point spread from to first. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Chris? I don't know what you're on about. Well, why, if there's no hope to go up, if there's no hope for promotion, no hope to win our matches, why tune in? Why even watch? Why buy a shirt? Why buy a scarf? Why spend your money to go to the ground? Why pay for 10,000 subscription plans to watch from another country? Come on, we got to do better than that. Yeah, listen, we were robbed of a decision, but it can't come down to one decision. That's what I'll say there, Steve, but I sort of understand what you're saying. Emma said, Fark saying now's not the time for experiments. How is Joseph over Bamford experiment? Almost an insult to Joseph. What he's saying is like changing up the core functioning of your team at the end. I know what he's saying. And listen, I tend to be more on Farke's side and stuff like this, but not when it comes to Mateo Joseph. I gave a lot of criteria of things I would have to see to give him more match time. He deserves it. He deserves the match time. And it's contrasted with the fact that Bamford's not playing very well. He's just not. I don't want to get extremist here, but he's not played particularly well. His hold-up play hasn't been good. His link-up play hasn't been very good. Never mind the shots he's taking. They're not turning into any kind of chances. So, Grundinator says, "Can we please?" No, you would just see us fight over tactics and who to play where, probably. Yeah. Anyway, we're coming up to about 30 minutes. I'm going to give some more thoughts, and then I'm going to highlight a couple more comments, and we'll be out of here. Here's the thing, and this is sort of what I'm concerned about going into the final stretch. We are on the final stretch. If we're not playing well from open play, and it seems like a number of factors are coming together to contribute to that. Number one, injury and fatigue. Number two, drop in form from young players, which you're going to get, but we're getting it. And I think a lack of significant rotation. If you don't get that to get new blood into a match, to change a match, you have to sort of rely on ways to steal a game if you're not going to just win it in the open run of play. We don't do that. We don't steal games because we don't score on set pieces. And we know we're not going to get a refereeing decision. So I'm not really sure. We just have to, I guess we have to play better and get back to how we were playing from open play. But it seems like it doesn't seem like there's a lot of backup planning from Farke here. And so I think he's just really confident in his plan. I think he thinks it'll work. And let's hope he's right. Ryan said putting 2 against Chelsea is definitely, it's not just the Chelsea match either, Ryan. It's the impact he's made coming off the bench and how he's looked as well. He's been dangerous and been in good positions, and he adds a pressing element that we've sort of missed. So, I think I don't believe in putting too much on one game. We could look at Brendan Aronson's game last season against Chelsea, and we certainly don't want to rate him based off that. But I get your point, and I do agree that he's earned earned some more playing time. Certainly not to come on right at the end. So. Oh, okay. Let's see a couple more comments here, and then we're going to get out of here at the 30-minute mark. Spanish writer says, can't put everything on Bamford's doorstep. Yep. No, I totally agree. In fact, I put more pressure on the guys that many are saying are the best players in the division. Nobody's saying Pat Bamford is the best striker in the division. Many people are saying in this fan base that Jorginho Rutter and Crescencio Somerville should be up for awards as player of the season. Okay. Show me. I'm not saying they shouldn't be, but show me. I don't see it. Not right now. All right, let's see. Ryan says, do you think Farke keeps the same 11 for Blackburn? Well, he might. I think he might start Willie again because he's shown at least some proclivity to do that. But I think he still rides with Bamford if that's what you're asking. And Ampadu is going to stay right back in his center half position with Joe Rodon as well. All right, let's see here. Have we scored for a corner of the season? I don't know if you scored. No, yes, we have. First half of the season, we've scored from 3 dead ball situations. So I'm pretty sure one of them was a free kick by Dan James. The other one was a goal by Joe. Was it Joe Rodon? Was it? And the other one was definitely Liam Cooper scored one. But yeah, it's not particularly great. Yeah, I'm also shocked they lost. It's lucky for us. Yeah, he did. All right, everybody, listen, I'm going to get out of here. My voice is starting to fail. As you can tell, I was yelling at the television a lot. Thanks for tuning in today. 1,500 of you in the building. So do us a favor, just as a quick thank you, or just to show your approval of our coverage of this match, regardless of availability of certain people on the One Leeds Fan Channel. Please like and subscribe. Like the video. We really appreciate it. It definitely helps us a lot. And we will see you all later. Well, wait a minute. Before I go, I thought I saw a name. I thought I saw somebody mention Joe Gelhardt. I'm not having it. Not gonna rant on that to go on. Anyway, we'll see you all later, guys. Bye-bye.